This show is brought to you by John Hughes and ORE Off-Road Equipment. Welcome to DriveWA. In our last 2 episodes for this series, we're going to delve deep into Aboriginal culture with Anne Priest as she gives us a very rare tour around Exmouth that's very rarely seen on television.
So,
is there anywhere around here where we can get some water?
yeah, we just go down this track here.
Right.
And it's actually comes out of the ground. You're actually able to fuel up and fill your water tanks, but not clean your boats like some people do.
And this is natural?
Yes, it's gravity fed.
Right.
So you go and have a drink of pure water from Cape Range National Park. The Bark Stefano boys, which we'll talk about that, the boys that were shipwrecked on the Northwest Cape in 1875, they never came in here or saw any of this. They only stayed close to the coastline. The Yenigurra people that were here didn't bring them in.
Right.
So when we get up here, if you want to just stop here, that row of trees, in that row of trees there's a cave that's been filled in. And that's where a lot of people were born from the Yenigurra mob. And if you go and have a look in that well, that's the original site for the cave that's in those trees just there. I better come out. I think it's important, otherwise the old ancestors might get cross with me. Sometimes you can actually see the critters in there, the blind fish.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, sometimes. So people will wonder what I'm here for, but this is country and I come here wherever I want to. And it's all here for people to see, but they don't know the story.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of it.
So you can actually pull that chain a little bit to the side and just see the water. You might see some blind white fish there. But down here you can see where the cave is. It's all been filled in. But that's it's Yenigurra country.
You'll be lucky. You might see some blind white fish. I can't see any at the minute. They're probably down there. They're back.
So you said this was originally a cave that got filled in?
No, the cave's just there, dear.
Oh, over here?
Yeah. So that was the water hole, just one of the water holes. Because when you had a water hole, Aboriginal people, the water hole would be there, but they wouldn't live near the water hole in case you can contaminate it.
Okay.
So the caves over there where they would have been born, in your hide, people would have been born in the caves because it's cool. But the living area could have been somewhere over here because there's been so much happening and work. But when you get back and you start to learn and see what's around, you get to know the country. Like, I can go out onto the country now and think, okay, that's a site over there, because that's what I've been taught. And I've only been doing this with Grandad since about 1995. So imagine what it's like for these 11 and 12-year-old kids that have been on country with their family. Yet people don't see them as having any knowledge, and they can speak 5 languages. Up in the Kimberley, those kids that they're saying can't learn, they might speak 5 languages because there might be 5 language groups in their camp. So how you tap that to help them is what we want to do here in education, what we're developing. And we want to work with people, but it's people want to own. Unfortunately, a lot of it's about money.
Yeah.
Money's not going to work here because this place will pay back.
Well, and especially when you've got, you can't speak for other countries, and So each country probably would want to have their own education system, and that would be very difficult to facilitate.
Yeah, but a lot of those teachers are the old people that can help teach. So they're not tapping into the old people because people haven't followed a process to get to them. Because like Granddad says, oh no, they've got a certificate, they know everything, they'll learn. And I said to him one day, well, do we tell them? He said, no. Because when the ancestors are ready for somebody to be chosen to learn, they will learn. It's like me, I had no idea what I was coming home for or what I was going to do. I didn't know who I was. And you come back to where your spirit lies.
So it's about a spiritual journey, really. And
it is.
And
it's about that.
Things unfolding in their own time.
And the hard thing for a lot of people, like myself, because the young ones that are out there now in their 40s, you had nothing to do with them, so they don't accept you. But the old people know who you are. The old people in their 70s or 60s, because you went to school with them, they know. So sometimes I don't see those 40-year-olds or the 20-year-olds because they're listening to money, the dollar.
Right. Yeah.
The dollar is the sign. And I go back to the old person sitting under a tree. And sometimes if you want to talk to that person, you might have to sit there and talk to that person and come every day and just eat your lunch until they accept you. They can make you wait. But Yardie Homestead, it was Carter and what have you were here, so it's all documented in the 1880s. Because 1875, 1876 was the Bark Stefano, there was no white people here. So after that date, 1877 was when Carnarvon was settled. And then, so it was after that date, 1877, so in the 1880s. And it's all in that, in the book He Rode Alone with Drake Brockman. It's all about Carter. So it's a good book to get at. Exact dates, gone. They came from Croatia and they had been to Cardiff and got coal, and they were going back to Indonesia and they got blown off course. And they hit a reef south of Black Rock.
And they stayed here, they settled here,
No, they had 6 months, and normally people didn't survive from here. And they were the first ones to go back, and they actually learnt the language.
Oh,
they learnt
the local
West Talangi language, and it's written in that book, the names, but they couldn't speak English. But it was the Onslow Aboriginal people that came across and rescued them down in the Gulf.
Wow.
And
so this was before there was any whites at all?
No whites here at all. Yeah. This is when the people used to get taken away for the pearling. And it was Tucky, the Tucky family. It was their boat that came across. And the story is a beautiful story, but it's the only documented history for Northwest Cape Talangi mob. And that's why it's very, very important to get the borders, because everybody said it was Maud's Landing. It wasn't. Where they were found was south, and where they went to was where the South Tribe were, which they never mentioned the South Tribe's name. So people have presumed it was the Bayunga people, but it wasn't. It was the Talangi people. And that's why a lot of the things are held by those old people that I used to ask questions, because my adopted uncle had a pearling lugger, and he used to spend 9 months a year here. Don't tread in that.
No.
And he used to come over all the time. So my father was 45 when I was born, so my life was around older people. And I had a lot, and I used to have to be seen and not heard and listen. And it was Malay divers that lived next door to us, and Badu and Mayu and all of those people. So there was a lot of things that you get recall on, and the tall ships were one of them. Because of our own family background, my great-grandfather were all in the tall ships business and ships chandlers in England. So I have a great interest in the maritime.
So the Croatian ship that sunk, the
Bark
got wrecked
Stefano,
here, they decided when they came onto the land to learn about the Aboriginal people here and to record a history.
No, they didn't.
Or?
No, they just had to survive. That's all they were concentrating on, because I think there was 10 of them. I think there were 10 of them that died. and only 2 survived, and the whole story is in the book. The people looked after them because they didn't get in and look after them straight away. Only the strongest survived, so that's what it's like in culture.
Yeah.
And so there was
Sounds
only 2 boys, so they looked after them. And it was Grandad Sid, John Dale's great-grandmother was the old woman that walked with them.
Right.
And you need to read the book because it's really, really important.
So who wrote the book then?
Well, what it was, when they went back to Croatia, the boy, Miko Bakic, because they owned the ship, they had to do a report in Croatia of why there were so many lives lost. So his father had a Croatian or some priest write the history up. And it's that manuscript of that history is the history that was there. So they recalled everything. That's how it came to be written. But because they had 6 months there, they learnt the language. So they were able to, they couldn't speak English, but they could speak that language, but not English. So it was after that they learnt the English.
Right.
So Taki, the Yenigudera mob knew that there would be someone soon because they used to come over and pick up people from here for pearling, and that was at Kubra Well. People have said it was up at Bundaji, but it wasn't at Bundaji because I know where it was and it's been proven now. And the person that holds this manuscript now has been given to a copy and is on cyberspace is Dr. Josko Petkovic. The Bark-Stefano Trail, we only take it to our border. And then we hand that Bark-Stefano story to the Bayangu, and they can do all their education on their country and get economic development.
And then pass it on.
And then they take it to the next one because it goes all the way back to Croatia.
Yeah.
So the story can go right down the coast to Mandurah,
Yeah.
and that's what he approved because we're on someone else's country,
Right.
and the Bark-Stefano Taki passed on that country on the water.
Yeah.
Everybody's got water, to water.
Yeah.
Yenigudera, and that way, but we set up the, because it was us that did the language and that, we set up the story and then we hand the story on so that if there's any story, and we know there's none, if there's any story on those others, they can say this is where the Bark-Stefano people went back to Mandurah. And they can include that and link each one of the tribal groups along the coast. But the other thing was, those boys returned on the 4th of July and gave gifts to our people here. So they did a double journey.
What is a bird hide?
It's where you hide amongst the bushes. So it's bird hide, instead of hiding from the birds, it's a bird hide. And you can take all your photographs and what have you. Because we have a lot of migratory birds come here. That's why we reckon that this place is going to have bird flu before anybody else.
So it's where you do bird watching then?
Oh, you wait until you see it. It's magic. See, when you look at it.
So beautiful.
It is, isn't it? And the Bark-Stefano boys would have been here. They would have come because look at that. Quick, 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 quick. Camera.
Oh, echidna.
He's a
There's
beauty.
an echidna, look. He's a big one.
He is beautiful.
Oh, yeah, he's out. He's getting a bit of sun.
Great to eat.
Oh,
That's what they just taste like pork.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
got
That's what Kate
told.
said.
Yeah. He wouldn't be there if Kate's was here.
No, no.
So this is what we go. This is where lots of people come. It's a bit windy today, but yeah, this was a place that there was big Chinamen fought the Aboriginal people here.
there's lots of birds about.
Yeah, if it was calm and not windy, that whole area, all those rocks would have birds on it. But it's pretty special.
Yeah.
Got your mangroves. And DEC come in and they keep this all cut down for everybody, which is really good. So you can get your photos.
Anne Priest is a truly unique person, and you may be lucky enough to spend the day with her when you visit Exmouth. But even if you don't walk around country with Anne, please respect it and her culture by leaving this land, the vast expanse we call Western Australia, the way you found it. Well, we've travelled 1,200 kilometres so far, all the way from Perth in the Swan Valley to Exmouth in the northwest. But having a great trip isn't just about the scenery and the tours. You need somewhere to stay that will add to the experience. So, this is our guide to finding accommodation in each of the places we've visited so far, starting with Cervantes, the home of the Pinnacles. For a small town, there's a heck of a lot of choices, including a caravan park. But we chose to book a house because we had a big crew, and we got it from the local tourist bureau. There's also a Best Western right in the middle of town. Then heading north, there's not much at all until you get to Dongara. Well, except for amazing scenery. I could watch that all day. And then once you hit Dongara, you've got the whole Geraldton area laid out in front of you all the way to Northampton, and the possibilities are endless. We chose the Best Western in Gero, to its mates, right on the highway, and frankly, it was one of the best rooms you'll find for 200 Ks. Really worth checking into, but there's no shortage of other options, that's for sure. Geraldton has everything from B&Bs to luxury hotels, backpackers to budget motels. There's something for everyone. It's a cliche, but it's true here. And then there's another 200 Ks before you reach the oasis of Kalbarri, and it's just a spectacular drive. Kalbarri itself is very much a tourist town and offers pretty much the same options as Geraldton, only on a much smaller scale. Aside from the crazy chef at Finlay's restaurant, which is a must-see top place, the Edge is a genuinely top-class hotel, and if you're looking for the special touch, go no further. However, there's everything from holiday apartments to cheap rentals in the back streets, and most of everything has amazing sea or river views. Next on our drive north, we bumped into Shark Bay and Monkey Mia. There's a distinct choice here to either stay in Denham on the western side of the Cape, which has more shops and accommodation choices, or stay in the eco-tourist oriented Monkey Mia area. We stayed at Monkey Mia Dolphin Resort, which has everything from chalets to a caravan park, and there's almost nothing more you could want, including a monkey bar. Now, a lot of people get stuck into Carnarvon about its accommodation, but in my experience, it's just not the case. There's another Best Western here with a very nice restaurant and loads of holiday parks for grey nomads on a budget. You know who you are. Everyone's dad. Although the team didn't stay in Coral Bay, there are places that are very nice, but it can fill up quickly. Exmouth is a very widespread area. From the town on the eastern side of the Gulf, it can be a 30, 50 or 100 kilometre drive to eco-tours or attractions. There is a definite possibility you'll encounter wildlife after dark, and quite often during the day. Don't take any chances. Take this into account when you're planning your trip, and the folks at the Best Western where the team stayed will be able to talk to you about safety while driving the Coral Bay and Exmouth area. This hotel is 10 minutes north of the well-stocked tourist town, and it's only a short walk to a very secluded beach. But, as usual, to learn more about any part of WA, visit DriveWA.com and spend some time getting to know the real Western Australia.